Hello and welcome to the Paul O'Connor podcast, where we'll be talking about the motor trade, entrepreneurship, business and beyond. Ollie Brady.
Paul!
Welcome. How are things?
Legendary Paul.
We've been trying to plan this now for a couple of months.
Yeah, this has been in the
pipeline.
There's been messages flowing.
Yeah, listen, exactly. Yeah, but,
Busy men.
Busy men, exactly. So, what have you been up to lately? I have a fair idea, but to tell the audience, you've been busy.
Well, MotorShield is my main
That's your baby
focus at the moment. I'm glad to report we're probably Ireland's largest independent warranty solution now. We're with so many dealers, so we're, but your listeners mightn't know, but there was always only a couple of ways to warrant cars, which was use a warranty solution like an insurance company who have a terrible reputation for not paying out when you need them and leaving you high and dry and pissing off your customer, or do it yourself. But the problem with doing it yourself is great, but the problem doing it yourself is you might only attract local trade, where if you have a warranty solution using us, you can attract a national audience using a national brand. And that's what we created. And our product is a dealer-to-dealer product. We're car dealers ourselves, and we were always frustrated with the cost and the bullshit that goes with the insurance warranty companies, as I call them, the greedy warranty insurance companies, when they mightn't pay out, frustrate your customer. Then you're basically playing double bubble. You've already paid them 300 or 400 quid, and you wind up repairing the car yourself. Yeah. And you're kind of like, it's just a distasteful situation for everybody. So if you do it yourself with your own warranty fund, and that's what we allow dealers to do, is grow their own warranty fund in their own bank account, totally safe. We don't run away with your money. Yeah. And when things go wrong, regrettably, cars go wrong, it's life. We do what I call all the donkey work. We do all the admin, all the booking, all the talking to the customers, all the arranging, all the diagnosing, all the parts, identifying, creating. We're basic solutions people when it comes to warranty. My wife and I, Catherine, we basically create a solution for the dealer and the customer that allows them to get to a quick fix, a quicker fix locally. And to be honest, it works extremely well. We're quite good at it. I think we're good at it. We're told we're good at it. We work extremely hard at it because it's not simple. Warranty's not simple.
No, especially with modern cars.
We've encountered some simple fixes, some pretty big fixes, costing $5,500. Simple stuff, ABS sensors, wheel bearings, stuff that can be quite rudimentary. But then you have the big ticket items that go wrong. But we tend to get customers happy, and we get them away, and we get them happy, and we get them motoring again. And then you have a happy dealer. If they're happy, customers happy, the dealer's generally happy, and yeah, it's MotorShield's. It's growing nicely. We have dealers ringing us now, asking us about it. I suppose when people hear about yourself using it, and some other key dealers, Barry Martin in Mullingar would be a huge user. Shout out to Barry, good pal of mine. But Barry uses it extensively and loves it. He was spending a fortune with a warranty insurance company, and they basically shafted him and started using us, and he's total control in his warranty now. That's the great thing about using us. You have total control in your warranty fund.
It's kind of from obviously a dealer that uses a perspective. It's kind of like best of both worlds, right? Yeah. You get the convenience of someone else kind of looking after your warranty claims, and the big one as well for a selling point for us is it's kind of nationwide. Yeah, you don't have to bring it back to us. Yeah. Like we sell cars everywhere. Now, if it's someone local, like we look after ourselves, fine. But if someone in Galway, let's say, or Louth or Dublin, wherever it is, it's just convenient. You can say to the customer, "Listen, we have a warranty company looking after it. Don't worry, we're deciding on the claims, so we're not going to. Our reputation will remain." We're not going to be weaseling out of a claim but for your convenience, we'll have someone else kind of looking after it, and also you can get it done somewhere close to you. So it's kind of win-win. That's the feel, and I think that's why it was badly needed. I think in the motor trade in Ireland. Is there something similar in the UK?
There is. It's quite big in the UK.
Yeah.
It's quite big, and we were the first to market in Ireland for it. And I think it's a pity. Like every dealer who uses kind of go, Ollie, where have you been? Like, we could have been doing this for years, because they know. Like I used when I was like yourself setting up years ago, and I wanted to aggressively grow as a car dealer. I used one of the names, and I spent 28 grand with them, and they spent 4 grand in repairs. Yeah. And I had an awful job getting that info out of them. And I felt like an idiot when I thought, geez, I could have done this myself, 24 grand up.
I've been arguing this with lads for years, because like apart from when I started, maybe for the first 2 months, maybe I was using external warranty companies, because you're kind of like you have that fear built into you. It's like, oh God, what if? Oh, I better have cover and all that. And I get where that comes from, but like at the end of the day, with all warranty companies, and there's no point in even singling out ones, and I wouldn't name any publicly, like they're a business, and I wish them all well, and they need to make their own money, but like you're paying for warranty companies' sales reps, you're paying for their rent, paying for their buildings and everything like that, you're paying for all of their overheads and their nice profits as well, when it's something that you could be keeping that kind of money yourself. So you have to remember that they're out to make money out of it, like, do you know what I mean? Like more power to them, like, but I just
when you look at their business model, if they bring in 8 million in premia across the year, and they pay out 5 in repairs, they're 3 million up for doing what? Like it's like for shuffling paper around. Like they don't own workshops, they don't own any tools, they might have a couple of reps in the road, a website, admin. It is money for all rope. And what we do is very different. Like, we're a car dealer solution made by car dealers for car dealers, and dealers like that. They like the way, like, I handle a lot of the technical stuff. There's be some claims that, I would know through my own car dealer knowledge of fixing stuff over the years and arranging fixes and paying for stuff myself, that I can nearly, if you get in an Audi, if a claim comes in for an Audi, and it's like, oh, lights in the dash, you can kind of go, it's ABS sensor.
Yeah, exactly.
It's going to be an ABS.
Or an EGR issue.
It's you can kind of nearly, you'll have a gut nearly, and if it's not that, you'd be surprised. Oh, I'm surprised it's not that.
No, absolutely. And you're used to dealing it yourself. And the thing is, a lot of these companies and a lot of these services, when they're coming from a dealer's perspective, because you're a car dealer yourself, you know what other car dealers would be looking for. And I think that's very important as well. You're not coming from a big, because sometimes when the big and in any type of business, the corporate people in head office, they're so far removed from what happens on the ground, which is changing the whole time, and it changes year on year and everything like that, that they can be a little bit out of touch with what is actually required. So I suppose you definitely have a benefit in that. So that's been good. When we touch on MotorShield a little bit later as well. So give us your background, Ollie, because I know from talking to you previously, you weren't always a car dealer. You were in radio, I believe.
I was.
As anyone would know from his fabulous radio voice, smooth as silk.
I had a varied career.
Give us back from the start. You're at 50 now.
50 last February.
And from 20 onwards, what did you do?
Well, I studied radio. That
was your gig.
I'm a radio journalist by qualification, and then, well, back in the 90s, there was no jobs. So I was living.
In general,
or you couldn't get a job. Like you couldn't. Like, the goal was to get into RTE, obviously, or somewhere. So there was a lot of nepotism.
Of course,
really. So I was living in Dublin. I was after college, and I was kind of like, what am I going to do? I had no arse in my trousers, literally, living in a bed sit. So I went off, and I was selling. I actually got a job in car rental in Ratdown Motors, who had owned a car rental business called Argus. Learned a lot there about car rental and car repairs.
This was just after college, was it?
Yeah, and I was in Terra Nura. It was good fun, not an easy place to work, family business, a lot of weird dynamic, but worked there, and very difficult place to work, very difficult people to work for. The old man was lovely, but the sons and daughters, odd. situations. Family businesses can be like that.
They can be, especially when they're at second generation or
Yeah.
further down the line, because you've people that end
So-
up in the business that mightn't necessarily be.
Yeah.
They didn't start it; they're kind of just inherited it, so it can be a bit messy. Yeah.
And then I bounced around jobs. I was working in a place that did pipe valves and fittings and fixing pumps and car washes and all sorts of mad stuff. I was literally just trying to stay working.
In Dublin.
In Dublin, but I was still trying to get into radio at the same time. And then there was Pirates in Dublin, and I got onto. Yeah. But there was
Pirate radio stations,
there was one great pirate radio station called Pulse 103, and I got onto Pulse. I don't know who got me into Pulse. Oh, a guy called Dara Sullivan, who I knew. I just rang him up, and he says, "Yeah, there's a Saturday night gig. A Sunday night gig." So I did a Sunday night gig there for a year or two, and Jenny Green used to be on ahead of me, and there was other people there, which Mark McCabe was there. There was a few others, and
was it kind of like
Ray G?
Were you presenting kind of radio?
Yeah,
or was it kind of DJing, or did you
dance
DJ
music,
as well?
Yeah. Very enjoyable. Yeah, I was a hot jock. Yeah.
Did you do much DJing? Because I DJ too.
Yeah, I did a lot of DJing all over the country for years. Yeah. And I'm actually building a TikTok studio at home at the moment.
Really?
In my garage. Yeah. So I'm going to be live on TikTok soon. Whether that's a good thing or not, I don't know. But
Can't be a bad thing.
because I haven't been on air in 18 years. I left it behind 18 years ago. But I was only thinking about it the other day. When was I last on air? It's easily 18 years ago. And but yes, I did that, and then I eventually got into a local radio station in Carlow. Is now defunct, CKR FM. I was there for a couple of years. Mm-hmm. Then I went to Waterford. I was actually in WLR. I worked in WLR for a year.
Noted when you told me that, I was like, I definitely heard Ollie Brady on the radio before. Yeah. Were you there long?
Yeah, I was there over a year. I really enjoyed it. It was actually one of the... I will say to this day, WLR is probably one of the best local radio stations in Ireland, and it was one of the most enjoyable places to work. Des Whelan is sound, who owns it. Oliver Carroll, I'm still friendly with Oliver Carroll, great guy, really good people. Actually, Oliver Carroll actually voices the info video on MotorShield. It's actually Oliver Carroll.
Really?
Yeah. Ollie does. Ollie's the voice of MotorShield online.
Really?
Yeah. And some just really good radio. Really enjoyed my time there. But I have a bittersweet kind of feeling about it because I really wanted to get into Beat.
When did they start? They probably started around 20 years ago, was it? Yeah, I remember,
And
was Andy McCloskey there?
Andy was there, but the guy who set up Beat...
Did a couple of cars off us, Andy. Lovely
man.
man.
Andy's sound, didn't give me the gig he chose. The problem was I was probably 5 years older than I should have been to get into Beat at the time. Yeah. So I was late 20s when I should have been early 20s. And they hired a load of early 20s, which is fine, you know. So I got a gig in WLR, and I was happy. But I was always looking across the studios going, I'd rather be in there.
Yeah, this is really good. This is the cool station.
I'd rather be in there than playing something from the 80s.
Yeah.
And I did that anyway, and got married and a few things, and then... but...
He says excitedly, got married and a few things.
Yeah, started a family.
Kids.
Kids, pesky kids. But... What happened then was I wanted to get into management, and I thought getting into radio management, this will be great. You know, this is a career now. And I did. A program director job came up in Tipperary. I applied for it. I got it. I went to Tip FM, and I was there about a year and a half, and I brought Tip FM from a point where it was just breaking even to a 14% market share, and back into the black.
And this is 20 odd years ago, is it?
Yeah. And with the help of a nice lady called Ethel Power, Ethel and I kind of plucked it out where it was. She did the management, I did the programming, and then I was approached by a large group in the UK and Ireland, and I was offered a lot of money to go work in Northern Ireland, and I took it, but stupidly took it because I was turned on by the money. Mm-hmm. I had a big BMW, a lot of money, an awful lot of money. I was paid in sterling. It was very.
I see no bad about this. This all sounds great.
But I had no life.
Okay.
I literally had no life. I was living in a hotel 4 nights a week. I had a boot full of clothes in the BMW. I thought this would be great, but it was actually shit. It was actually...
You were just staying up in
I was
the north
literally,
midweek.
yeah.
Where were you living then at the
I
time?
was living out of the Bouvacar.
Yeah.
I was hotel to hotel to
Yeah.
hotel, and it was not fun. Like, you think it's glam. Oh, this is great, you know. And I had 100.
Were you on air or were you just kind of managing?
No, I was off air at this point,
Okay.
and I wasn't liking it. I'd rather be on air, and I didn't like it. I had 110 staff. I didn't like it. A lot of pressure at boardroom level. Didn't like that. Probably bullied at boardroom level. Certainly didn't like that.
No.
Because I don't like working for other people. And I kind of learned to that stage, I don't like working for other people.
You kind of get to a point where you realise that I was like, I think I need to go up my own. So everyone's annoying me.
So we kind of, a few things happened, and we came to a point where we parted company. And I set up I set up a radio station for them from scratch in Uri. Really enjoyable process. To bring like a thing from a sheet of paper to on air, but hard work, and radio's full of politics, and I mean it's just full of personalities, many of which aren't pleasant, and it's full of politics, particularly at boardroom level, and it's full of bullshit. And what I found out very quickly is that it's much more fun being on air and being creative and doing your thing and engaging with your audience. Like, you may as well be working in an accountancy firm. In a suit.
Once it goes off air and above that's management boardroom.
And it's horrible. Yeah. It's actually, you're better off in an accountancy firm, because radio is not a nice place to work. It's actually not. You might. It's.
Do you know anyone still there? Is it still the same, or is it kind of?
No, it's all changed. It's bought out. It's. You see, that's what happens in radio. Groups get bought out. People leave. People come. Consultants they put their oar in, they change everything around, then they leave 2 years later, then another consultant comes in and changes everything around. And it's just this crazy treadmill of change, and there are stalwarts, there are guys who stay throughout the decades. But those people deserve a medal, because the amount of bullshit they listen to and put up with, and bullying they'll put up with as well. Yeah. The bullying. You know, I don't like bullying. I'm like, if someone bullies somebody, I'm like, it's not acceptable.
I cannot stand it either.
And it kind of goes back to me when I was in national school. I was bullied by a bunch of pricks from a different parish, because I played football for a different parish. And
the lads on Rugged Island.
Yeah, just kind of gang up on you and give you a hiding at lunchtime or whatever. So I was never, and I always abhorred that. In business,
and you saw a lot of that in the radio industry.
You see people treated like absolute shit, and so I remember thinking about, when I get out of this, I'm never going to work for anyone again. I'm never going to work for someone. I work for myself. So anyway, what happened there was I left that, and again was approached by another radio group to set up iRadio, and
really?
Yeah, and I was there at the setup. Galway was up and running at the point. It was the Midlands. Set up, but I was actually shafted out of iRadio by probably two of the nastiest individuals, malevolent, nasty individuals, again at boardroom level.
Yeah.
And which was regrettable, but probably a good thing in the long term for me, because I learned a lot. And again, it reinforced that I should not work for anyone else. I should work for myself. So I took I left that. I probably took a year out, and I started doing what I should have done years ago, which was buying and selling some cars off eBay UK. Brought them over, and the first car I bought was a silver 04 Mondeo diesel. I think I paid 1,800 sterling for it on eBay. A friend of mine, Martin Giles, was driving a truck in and out to Italy. He gave me a lift out to England in his truck one night. I think it was a Saturday night, and I romped up to the lady's door, and I knocked on the door, and I says, "Hi, I'm the guy on eBay, bought your car, and here's the 1,800 quid. So I gave her the money, and she gave me the keys in the V5. I jumped into the car, drove back to Pembroke, middle of the night, slept in the car, got back home the following morning, or whenever I got home. I went straight down to the VRT and played it and tested and serviced it and all. And I sold it. And my first customer was a lady from Naas. I'll never forget it. And I was just handing it over to her, and I was telling her, oh no, I've started this little business buying and selling used cars.
Oh, how much did you sell it for then? If you bought it for 1,800, give us an idea.
I think I sold it for something like 4.5, 5 grand.
Oh, nice. And then pay the VRT. Well, people, because I'm obviously I'm a bit younger than you, but I remember back before the recession, or even at the start of the recession, like there was such value, even for the private customer, to if you had the wherewithal about you to kind of just buy a £2,000 sterling car in the UK, like, and bring it home. Yeah. And so you will sell it for 5. It was just kind
and it'd sell quick.
It would sell quickly. Yeah. Like there was I bought a Corolla G6R and I bought a GT TDI, and I used to do a bit of it from the UK as well. But there was money to be made there, right? Very straightforward.
But the margin scheme was still in place because they were still in the EU. There was no customs duty.
It was just very straightforward.
There was no NOx.
There was no NOx charge.
No
so
NOx.
Bring in the older diesel,
the NOx.
So it's
NOx killed it.
Yeah, it did really. But NOx and Brexit combined together, but like there was a few pound to be made. Yeah, absolutely. So you bought that. Yeah, you brought that Mondeo.
But the lady who bought it.
This is just when you were like working from home or whatever.
I was working from home, and she says to me, I was telling her, I just bought this, and she says to me, how do you want to get paid? And I says, sure, look, sure, says, whatever we are comfortable. She says, yeah, just so you know, she says, I work for the revenue. I says to her, you're joking me. She says, yeah, I work in the revenue. And I says, yeah. I says to her, phew. I says, well, I'll have a bank transfer, please. Yeah. And she says, I only have cash though.
Is this a test?
Yeah, I have cash. And I says, I'll be thrown in the bank anyway. I says,
I'd be thrown in the bank and pay my taxes anyway. So
she says, you've nothing to worry about. She says, I'm just letting you know. And I says, jeez. That's my first fucking car. Like,
so you were forced to go into business and get a VAT number instantly.
But I genuinely believe those things happen for a reason. Like you meet people along the way.
And from that time onwards, when was the kind of journey to actually going out on your own properly, or were you just kind of tipping away for a year or so?
Yeah, I think, Paul, I think I started. I did that for a while, and look, it was nice and comfortable because I was making money, and it was a lifestyle business. But there was no kind of future in the lifestyle business at my age because I had a mortgage, kids, and responsibilities. So I had to get serious about it. So I bought a truck, and I could put 3 on the truck and sleep in the truck. It was a sleeper, and I was in and out of England every week, buying. Woo, business doesn't stop. Buy 3, leave 2 more, get them lifted. So I was probably churning out 4 or 5 a week. A very good living, but I needed a premises. Then I got my father-in-law gave me a bit of his yard. I was there, and then I moved to another place, and it wasn't big enough. But eventually, I got to Manorstone Service Station, and I got my own premises built about 10 years ago. And I was telling you the whole background to that more recent, but it's on a steady footing now. But it was a bit hairy for the last few years. Because we had, we'd trouble with landlords and all sorts of receivers and liquidation and all sorts. But it's back on an even keel now, thank God. But we have a very good business there. I had my own workshop, which I needed. Because you know yourself when you're prepping cars.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I was relying on a guy, and he's very good, but I couldn't be throwing everything at him. So we can do all our own tires, all our own servicing. We do our own, in most of our valeting in-house. Farm out a bit of it too. And we have a car wash on site. Which people come in and get their car washed. And there's another revenue channel. And the great thing about when people come to our site is we're a very busy motorway services. They see us as a professional outfit. They come in, they see the workshop, they come into my office. It's not as nice as yours.
But it's a little studio. Yeah.
But actually, I'm going to have a bit of a refit soon, bit of a tidy up, lick of paint and stuff. And what they get with us is they get, we've excellent reviews over 15 years of trading. Like, they look at our reviews, they kind of go, and people will say to us, we looked at your reviews.
Yeah. Very important.
Yeah. And they'll come and they'll buy, and we have a lot of repeat custom. I'd say 60-70% of what we do is people who bought off us before or have been referred. And we sell pretty much anything between 5k to 15k. We might have some prestige, but we don't tend to do bread and butter stuff. Vans and cars, a lot of Kia, a lot of Hyundai. We do a lot of vans, And we're margin hunters, really what we are. If it's a nice vehicle and there's a margin in it, we'll prep it up and sell it. We don't do shit. We do nice motors with good mileage, good histories, and we prep. I tell you, when I do prep, I'm like yourself now, I will throw 1,500 quid into a car.
Yeah, you have to really. These
but I will want it in the price.
Yeah, of course.
I will want it going out the gate, and people will piss and moan about my price. But I'll say, you can. I say to people, I don't sell on price. I sell on value. The amount of work is done on your car is like substantial. Like all new suspension, belts, service, proper warranty, new test, spare keys, the whole lot. We prep them up well, and I think you're only as good as your prep in our game. I think fellas winging it with an oil change.
We often see it as well, like when you buy a car, let's say in the trade, sometimes it'd be a car that would be on someone else's forecourt. They're like, oh, it's prepped already. And then we get it and we're like, spend another grand on it. Your prep is maybe an oil change. And there are so many lads like that. There's no point even singling out anyone.
You'll get a back bumper and you'll go, that bumper needs to be painted. Like the touch up on it is like...
You get people you see especially on TikTok, you get people moan, the price. It's like, yeah, we can buy it. We're not the cheapest. I don't want to be the cheapest, but like we're one of the best, and our quality is good. And again, look at our reviews, everything like that. And it's if you can buy it cheaper, yeah, there's lads up in Dublin that'll sell it for $2,000 less. But just be careful what you're buying, and then just be careful and make sure you know what you're buying and you know the history of it and you know that it's been prepped. Or we're not ABC Motors on somewhere up in North Dublin or something like that, for example. And like we'll be here next year, they might not be. So that's always.
They probably won't be there next year.
They'll be trading under some other name.
That's
They'll be XYZ Motors. Do you know what I mean?
That's common.
All these generic names.
And we've had them contact us in the MotorShield, wanting to come on to MotorShield.
You should be careful who you get on board with that as well.
We have to. And we're like, my answer to some of them is like, we'll be in touch. We never get back in touch.
Yeah.
And like we really want what we really want is like family businesses, generational business, heritage businesses, but not just that is moral, people with morals. Like there was a time fellas would be selling absolute shite, like they'd be punting out absolute shite, and like things do go wrong, but like proper dealers will stand up and go, right, I'll fix it. We've a dealer there last week. Gearbox went wrong, and an auto gearbox went wrong in a car. It's $5,500 fix, and they just said to me on the phone, get a fix for the customer, Ollie. And that's exactly what we need, is dealers who, when it goes wrong, they go, we will fix that car for the customer.
Yeah, no. I know we're the same.
You're the same.
You just have to, if you're selling cars and you're, like it's part of the deal in car sales. The reason why you're going to get more than a private customer is because that's the cost of doing business. You have to pay for the prep and you have to pay for stuff going wrong, and you have to give reassurances to people. Like some people, lads just want it every way. They want all the profit on the front end, but give out nothing on the back end. I said that unfortunately isn't part of the deal. Like this is the deal. I know no one likes to do it, but like if we have a month, like and we can spend 15 grand plus a month on warranty. It depends on the month. But that's just part of doing business. Forget about it. We put up 300 aside for warranty. Yeah. And I'm okay to spend that. Do you know what I mean? And that's fine. That's again, it's the cost of doing business. Some months we spend more. Some months we spend less. And
like my view is, and
so be it. Like
if I sell 5 cars in a week, 6 cars, 10 cars, whatever, and if you do, let's say you do $3,000 on each one, and one goes wrong, well, sure, look, the margin was there to fix the car anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like it's just really a numbers game.
That is too.
And you have to stand up and I just never understand people. And I've been down this road where I've met several people who are let down by dealers, and then what happens is they have a very bad view of all car dealers.
Sure, we get it the whole time. Like there's such a distaste online for car dealers, and again, some of it's warranted. I totally get that. And people will hear horror stories, and if you hear 20 good stories but one bad story, you're going to think of the one bad story, and so I get why car dealers have, to an extent, would have a bad name, because it's one of the main industries where there's a real prominent after sales that's part of the business, like, you know what I mean, and where the manufacturer, let's say, or the seller will probably have to fix something if it goes wrong. If you buy a TV off Harvey Norman, for example, it's unlikely the TV is going to pack up or give problems, right? If you buy a car off a car dealer, there's a good chance there's going to be a warranty issue at some point, and there's definitely going to go wrong at some point. Like it's more likely that it will happen than it won't happen. Do you know what I mean? So there's a lot of
a problem I have
sales that's going to be needed. Yeah.
A problem I have is that when it does go wrong, and let's say you wind up in a court situation, the dealer never wins. We're always shafted, even though we didn't build the bloody thing. You know, I remember selling a van to a guy and it went completely wrong. Hands up, the engine shit itself. I lost $8,000 on that van. By the time I bought it back, and it sat in the yard, and of course, you know, you kind of like every day you go back, you're walking past as if like, I don't want to see that van. And you're busy with other stuff, and then it's sitting there, and you're like trying to, and then the day you realize you're looking, or one day then you're doing your VAT or whatever, and you go, oh, that joke's still sitting on my books, I better do it. And then you wind up taking, like a guy gave me $4,000 for it. I literally got my pants pulled down over that van. But that's life.
I think sometimes, again, you don't want to see the loss on paper. Yeah. That's it. And that's when it becomes real. When it's sitting there, and I think everyone does that. Like, you see it there, and it's like, I must sell that eventually. It's like, that's losing a heap of money. I was like, I don't want to see because that'll make my month, take the shine off my month.
And I've had lads go, I've never lost money in a car. Well, I'll tell you, I'll tell you now. You haven't sold enough cars yet.
You haven't. It's impossible not to. I don't lose money on that many cars, but I do lose money on some cars. Move them on. They're not going to a problem car or one that's been there ages or one that's upside down because of prep or stuff going wrong with it. It's not going to suddenly become profitable. The market value is not going to rise in this 2017 Octavia that you put a new engine into. It's not.
The guy who bought the van off me, I said to him, I hope you make a fortune on it. Yeah. And he did. He put an engine and he sold me, made a profit, fair play. He's a friend of mine, a great guy.
And more power to him.
I says, I'm glad you were able to, because I couldn't. That thing was like,
you'd have, that happened. It does happen though. Yeah. And you know the way you said you do a lot of Kias and Hyundais, like, what kind of, what was your journey over the years? Did you start selling some cars and then you moved away from them, or what? Have you always been selling similar type cars?
Yeah, a lot of hatchback diesel. Like
that you've always been.
What I liked about Kias was you could buy Kia seeds in the UK for $2,000 a pop, put them on the lorry, bring them back, and you could sell them for $5,000 a pop, or even $7,000. And you know, they rarely came back. They were just great little diesel cars, not sexy. You might get a coupe.
They're functional,
but they were great bread and butter car. People come. I remember people still trading them into me recently with like 400k on them, and these were cars I sold with like 40k on them. Like they were super little diesel cars that people would run. I remember there was a guy, he was in the army, and he bought one with like 30,000 or 25,000 miles or something on it, and he had it for donkeys. I even completely forgot. And then he came in to me, and he was driving from Laois, where I am, up to Kildare every day, up to the Curragh. And he came into me and he bought a Sportage off me, and he traded in his Kia Ceed at 440,000 kilometers on it. And he says, I never put a clutch in that car and I service it every time myself. And I was like, boom. That's why it was such a great car. He self-serviced it on the button, and he was driving it himself. So the clutch was, he was probably very handy on the clutch.
Yeah.
But they were I sold a lot of those over the years. i30s, because they were the same.
Yeah.
Sportages, thousands of Sportages, iX35s.
They're all getting, a lot of those ones, and those year ones are just getting old now. They're getting a little bit shook.
Yeah, they are.
They're just getting a little bit shook. Very
shook.
And the models that are replacing a lot of these cars are soft.
Not good.
And they're not good.
Not good.
And that's the thing, like,
the engine in my wife had a 21 plate. I still own the thing. A 21 plate Sportage, mild hybrid 1.6 diesel. Nice white one. I bought it, and what happened to it? They said when I bought it, the modification is done on that. You know, at the crank, there's a modification on a pulley or something, because of the mild hybrid system. And when you would look down, there's a nice new component there, whatever it is, a pulley or whatever. And I thought, this is great now, because the modification's done, it'll give no trouble. So Catherine drove that around, and it shit itself.
As they do. And they're the same engine as the Tucsons, aren't they? Yeah.
And that car is sitting in the yard, waiting now 5 months to get into Kia. I since gave up. I bought catching a brand new EV3, electric car, and it's a great car.
Yeah. I saw that you got it off the lads in iMotors.
Got it in iMotors.
Yeah.
Shout out to Michael.
Yeah. Good friend of mine.
Yeah. He actually said that he was WhatsApping me earlier. He said to say hello. So yeah, got up the lads, and we've a good relationship with them because they use MotorShield as well. They're one of our bigger customers, and we've an excellent relationship. And so I wouldn't really buy a Kia anywhere else. So and it's a great electric car. It ticks all the boxes. It's very good value, I think.
What kind of range you get out of it?
Ours is the Earth one, which is the standard range. The long range one, which will give you another, I think is a 60 kilowatt battery in this one. Is the other one over 74, 75? It'd be $3,500 more. I didn't have it in the budget. I thought it wasn't really required. The one we bought had the spec and colour I wanted. It'll give in real world. Now we have it in the summer. I can't tell you the winter yet.
Yeah.
But it'll give on a full charge. It'll give about 380 kilometres.
Yeah, there's something wrong with that. That's pretty.
But your Catherine doesn't go anymore.
Yeah.
She doesn't. Drop the kids to school, come to work. It charges overnight, £6 to charge it.
It does make a difference winter and summer though.
Yeah.
Because we've a iX3. Well, Laura has it, and that does. It was only doing 300 odd in winter, but now it's doing up well over 350.
Yeah.
In the summer.
In the winter, would she have the heated seats on, the heated steering wheel?
She would.
See, when you turn on those bits,
they make a difference. Or air conditioning is a huge one as well.
Yeah.
But recently, she was working up in Tullamore for the day, and before it was in summer, and she said, I said I'll try and get it up and down on the one charge.
Yeah.
Like Tullamore's a fair spin now from Waterford.
Would be, yeah.
And she got down with a decent bit to spare, but again made a big difference to keep the. It wasn't a particularly warm day, nor was it cold. So keep the aircon off and make a big difference. But and she does a fair bit of driving. But I could see if you didn't do that much driving, which maybe in the future maybe she won't, but her current job is a good bit of driving. They would be ideal, and especially from a kind of a tax perspective through a company with BAK does make sense for a lot of people.
Which brings me to the question though. What are guys like you and me going to be selling in 10 years? I've had this conversation.
Oh man, I don't know.
I've had this conversation with a few car dealers when I'm talking about MotorShield. And it's gassed the way when you go into car dealers, when you talk about MotorShield, then you're having a dealer to dealer conversation.
Yeah.
So you're shooting the breeze with lads who do what you do in their office.
It's like therapy, isn't it?
Yeah,
Talking
it
to another
is.
car
And
dealer.
it's
I always find that you all have the same issues. You all have the same thoughts and everything else. It's like, I have a story. I have a better story.
And they're shit.
Yeah. Everyone thinks the same.
That car is shit. And I wouldn't use them as a supplier and all this carry on.
It was funny because you were mentioning a while ago about like the old Kia Ceeds and you did well out of Sportages and all that, and I would imagine you look back on them with a certain level of fondness, right? Because they didn't go wrong. They were pretty straightforward. They were simple to work on.
I can't buy a new one now.
No, but
the 1.6, the new ones, I won't buy them for stock.
But there's so many cars now that people are kind of moving away from. We still sell the odd one, but like take Peugeot for example. Peugeot were rubbish back in in 90s, early 90s and all that, and Peugeot kind of got a bit good again, and the new ones have started to go back down again.
Recently I had to put a new cam box in a 1.5 TDCI Focus, which is the same PSA engine in all the Peugeots, and cost me a fortune to put it right. Car was out of warranty, but I did it for free outside of warranty as goodwill for the lady, because I actually felt sorry for her. Not her fault, not my fault. I had the facilities and to do it for her free of charge. So I said, she rang me while I was on holiday, car broken down. I says, okay, but you are out of warranty, you have the car a while. I know I am, but I want you to fix it, Ollie. I says, okay. So when I came back, we recovered the car, and we thought starter motor was packed up because it just wouldn't start. And I rang her up. I remember saying, I think the starter motor's back. We're going to do the starter motor. Your battery is a bit weak. We're going to did a health check on the battery. So did her a quote. She actually paid me in advance to do the work. But when we took it apart, when Kieran took it apart, my main technician, he went, Holly, it's the fucking cam box. I said, you're joking me. It's fucked. It's fucked. And so we had to get a new cam.
What year is this now?
19 Focus.
19 Focus,
with 70k on it. Kilometres. Not good. And they're in all the Peugeots and all the Citroens. Had to do it. I actually rang her up. I said, look, I'm sending your money back. we diagnosed it wrong. We didn't know till we took it apart, and I'm fixing the car free of charge, and I did, and that's what you're facing with the PSA stuff. The DV6 engine was much better. This newer DV5.
See, the thing is, like with and going back to your earlier point about what are we going to be selling in 10 years' time, like I wouldn't have particular confidence in the new cars now, how they'll be in 5, 6, 7, 8 years' time when they become fairly used cars, and like the cost of repairing them, the cost of maintenance. But I think everything is going to be the parts.
Yeah, but Paul, I think there's an opportunity for us. I think there's a real opportunity.
No, I'm not all negative, by the way.
Yeah,
I'm confident I'll navigate around it.
Hear me out in this. I think there's an opportunity for us as car retailers. I think all this new electric stuff is going to be absolutely fucking brilliant.
Electric cars now, or electric components on
all the
cars,
EV stuff is going to be a total breath of fresh air, because we will get them in. The technology will be there to do battery checks. The technology will evolve to change a cell. The technology will evolve to do everything we need to do to recondition these vehicles. And I think when we sell them, the warranty will be a lot less. Yeah, things will go wrong. They'll need bushes and they'll need wheel bearings and ABS sensors, all the rudimentary stuff. But I think you won't have to deal with DPFs and EGR valves and all that.
They've been a disaster.
And cam boxes.
Anything that's come into a modern engine to reduce the emissions of it. Yeah. Like take your pick. Any of the systems have all been a disaster, right?
I think I'm looking forward to embracing. I think EVs are they're quiet, they're smooth, they're reliable. Yes, they have their problems, but I think
they're very new as well. It's quite a new technology. You have to remember. Yeah. I think the general gist from talking to people selling newer cars is that the electric cars that are being made now are actually going to be lower risk than the hybrids, let's say, and the petrols and the odd diesel that's been sold now. Like I don't think the electric cars are going to age too badly, and they all have a long battery warranty now as well.
Yeah.
And like you were saying, the equipment, technology will kind of, they'll be more reliable than a AdBlue system when it's 8 years old, for example. Anyway, like
I think they're fascinating. I'll tell you when I saw the new Renault 5 yesterday in Mullingar.
Looks cool, doesn't it?
What a car! Took a picture.
Yeah, it looks great. Like
what a car! And the Alpine one looks even better. Like
how much are they actually? Are they reasonable?
They're not wild, probably 30.
Yeah, I was going to say, probably, but
very cool, nice,
real cool.
Yeah,
like,
not a big
car.
Battery now apparently.
Yeah, but they're city cars. They're not going to be doing mad journeys.
This one was in green with the green one.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Lovely wheels.
They look great.
Smart car, but I love looking at TikTok about all the Chinese electric cars from the huge, like all the makers, Leap Motor. But the stuff Xiaomi makes looks amazing. Like if we're 5 or 10 years down the road and we're selling Xiaomis, and they're fully electric, and they're 680 horsepower or something, and they're fully laden with tech, and they're not going to break our heart in repairs and warranty and reconditioning. I think there's an opportunity for us, Paul. I really think and look, we're margin hunters. Like we're really margin hunters. We buy a thing for X, we sell it for Y, and we have all our costs in between our VAT, and we're trying. Like, I actually think it could be revolutionary for used car sales. And I know there's people who go, fucking hate EVs, and I hate everything they stand for, and I hate this.
I think the EVs are shit brigade. They're starting to quieten down.
Yeah, they seem to be.
I think so. I think this year, like again, look around. I've sold one or two electric cars ever, and it's just not a particular a strategy of mine, but it's more of a case of I haven't been offered them particularly, and I would still be a little bit cautious on the resale of some of them. But I rarely get offered them, but I wouldn't be afraid of them at the same time. And it's certainly as the years go on, I certainly won't mind selling them. And I'm certainly not against them either. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
I genuinely think that we're going to wind up selling them.
Oh, 100%. Like, it's happening. Like,
you don't want to be like right now. You don't want to be selling an old Leaf.
No.
Which won't charge up and give you 90 kilometers.
But some of the older ones now, you'd be very cautious.
But the newer ones, the new generational ones, so the EV3 we bought recently. In 10 years, let's say 7 years' time, I think that'll still be an excellent used car to sell if it's been charged properly, predominantly at home, not fast charging. I think, yes, you might have some battery degradation, but I was talking to a chap who sells Kias, and he sold an EV6 recently, and the new owner in the dealership wanted a battery test done. And his wife put a fair bit of mileage on it, and they gave it the full Kia battery degradation test. And guess what? I think there was 70 or 80,000 kilometers on it. And guess what the battery degradation was? I think it was 4-year-old, I think, from memory. Guess what the battery degradation was?
I wouldn't have a clue. Would it be 15%, 20%?
It was zero.
Zero?
Zero. Battery's fully healthy.
Admittedly, because I haven't been selling that many of them yet, like I do want to be more clued in with electric cars. Again, I will be as it becomes, like we're doing well at the moment out of the Japanese imports, for example, and we're doing well out of some of the cars we're buying in Ireland. So I'll just keep ploughing away with that. That could change in 2 or 3 years' time.
But when you were in Japan recently,
Yeah.
what is all the new car stock in Japan that people are zipping around in? Did you know? Is there a lot of electric cars?
No, there's not. Very few electric cars.
So
what's
going on
There's
there,
it's single-digit market share electric cars. They just have a lot of hybrids. Load of Toyota hybrids, don't have many diesels. Again, petrol hybrids are the main gist of the stuff in Japan. Very few electric cars. And I was asking the lads over there, here's another they haven't taken off yet. And I was like, interesting. But they still have just a load of hybrids. And again, I'm not saying that they won't adapt to them. I'm sure they will. But yeah, it's mainly, I think Europe is the main kind of country.
So in a way, that's good. That's good for you as a retailer. That means, let's say, in another 7 or 8 years, you're still going to have a good flow of used Japanese imports that are hybrid and petrol, as opposed to just electric. So that's encouraging.
Yeah. Like again, so they're still being sold en masse over in Japan. Like, so that's, again, like you said, it's good for the used kind of stuff at the moment. But again, you don't know. It's like, even like we're doing well at the moment out of the Jap imports, for example. But you know, in 2 years' time, the government, the Greens could get into power, probably not, and they could say, no, all internal combustion imports now is an extra 20% VRT or all tariffs or whatever they want to do it, and then you'd have to pivot and change. Like, so again. I haven't been selling that many electric cars yet because in order to make a decent living out of it, I haven't had to. But again, it will be the case where, you know, and again, even with trade-ins, like when, I don't know what percentage of new cars been sold are electric now. What's it at the moment? Is it 15, 20%? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it is, yeah.
Around that. By the law of averages, you will get more traded in, like.
Yeah, I think, but they tend to be traded against new,
another
EV.
Yeah.
They tend to be, like, I did have a lady ring me up, I don't know, was it last year, and she was trying to trade in a Leaf. And
we get the odd one trading here. And they're almost untradeable. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, everyone's like, no.
So I got chatting to her, and I just said, wouldn't be for me now. I says, but why are you selling it? And she says, I don't like it. She said, I've sold this thing about, it's going to be fantastic, and it's going to charge it at home. She says, don't like it, I want rid of it. I want to get back in a diesel car. It hasn't been good. I think she bought the wrong car. Like, Leafs haven't great range, you know. It was an older one. I says, where'd you buy it? She said, I bought it off Nissan garage. I says, did you ask them to, you know, would they take it back? They don't want it back. Okay, they made me a shit offer to basically get rid of me. Okay. And she says to me, what would you give me for it? And I says, well, it's probably like a $4,000 car.
What year is it?
And I think it was like a 16 or a 17.
Yeah, like that is just prime for battery replacement, though. Isn't it?
Like, she was like, I've been quoted worse than that. She said, and but you see, that's the horror stories that makes good print, both online and in the papers.
But a lot of people do quite well out of it, and they will get a good trade in.
Yeah.
Another problem, though, with a lot of these cars going forward, or maybe not a problem, but like, who's going to be working on them? There's a massive lack of lads going into the trade, I think, still, isn't there?
You and I are going to have to then have an EV technician, and that person's going to have to be highly trained. And then there's going to be criteria as well about battery disposal if you're changing batteries. Like, where do you dispose of an EV battery? You can't really leave it out with the wheelie bins.
Where there's people that are backing away from it and they're a bit afraid of it, there's massive opportunity. Like, and again, if you're a young lad or whatever, I always say, like, if you're a young lad that has any bit of a brain about you and you're good with your hands or whatever, you're good at kind of manual jobs or whatever, like, to get into kind of the more computer EV mapping, all that kind of thing side of the business in car sales, a lot cleaner as well than taking a gearbox out of a Transit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Genuinely
there's great money going ahead to be made in that. Like,
Genuinely think we're at the summation of technology, and I actually think this could be a great thing for us. It could get us away from dirty diesels. Mm-hmm. It could get us away from, just too much repair. There's just too much upkeep. the downside I can see with EV is, and I do see, I'd be lurking in some EV groups when you buy an EV, you start, and
it's like a little cult. Though. You
Yeah.
see their little Facebook EV Facebook
Yeah,
groups. Oh my God, really nice car.
but you do
do
see-
you love yours?
yeah. Well, what range do you get?
Oh, shut up.
I remember years.
Look,
I
leave
remember
them to
years
it.
ago, Tesla put up a charge point.
Some people make having an EV their whole personality.
Yeah,
like.
yeah. Well, this guy,
Get
I
life.
tell you, this is a classic story. I remember I used to picture all my cars up at there's a Tesla charge point. They built it about 10 years, maybe 8 years ago. And when they built it, I thought, this is a great fucking place to picture cars. Because there was very little Teslas coming in. Now you couldn't get into the place. And I used to go up and picture all my cars at what I used to call the shrine to Elon Musk. And I used to put like a Kia.
Surprised it's not burned out these days with the fucking lunatics going
Stick a
around.
Kia in the middle.
Yeah.
And this dude, I was picturing the car anyway, and this dude pulls up in a Tesla, and he gets out and he comes over to me and he goes, "Excuse me, are you meant to be here?"
I see you're not driving a Tesla.
And I just said to him, "Yeah, because I fucking own the place." I didn't. I just said that to him. And he goes, "Oh, sorry, I didn't realize." Yeah, it's fine. So he said, I said, "Do you like your Tesla?" And then he turned into a total Tesla bore. He was, this guy. He started shiting on about his Tesla, and I thought, oh, why did I ask him that? And I was just, yeah, sure, yeah. And he's shiting on, and then he says, you know, you wouldn't believe what he said to me. Then he goes, at the end of it, he just goes, and you know something? If you work really hard, it's something to aspire to.
He did not say that.
He fucking did. And I had to bite my tongue and go, anyway, nice to see you.
It actually wasn't that nice to see you. But again,
And I got into, I fucked up. I couldn't believe,
you listen, kid, if you work hard, you'll get to where I am. I was like, oh my God, get in the bin.
I was like, oh. It was, I remember telling that to people and they were like, you know, yeah, he actually did say that. He actually did. Oh, it's so funny.
It's like the CrossFitters that just love talking about CrossFit. Like
Yeah.
Tesla
Well, it's like a
drivers,
vegan. How do you know
Yeah,
someone's vegan?
They'll tell you 50 times.
You know, or how do you know someone got a new iPhone? They'll tell you.
I actually what do you drive? I actually have a Tesla, and but again, they make it their whole personality. Like some of the EV lads are like that as well. Like, you know
But
what I mean?
I'm in a couple of groups, and there is a worrying trend where a lot of them say, "You don't need to service your car."
In the EV or the Tesla groups?
No, in all the EV groups tend to be like, sure, like the main dealers just changed the pollen filter, and they charge you 300 quid for a service. There's no servicing on an EV, and there bloody is. There is. That car needs to go up on the ramp. You need to check all the
You
suspension,
still have
check
all
for
the same
tire wear.
components that a normal car. They'll have the same braking components. They'll have the same suspension. They'll have wear and tear items.
Yeah.
Like they still drive along the same roads as
Granted,
as we do.
Granted, there's no oil changes and there's no,
Yeah, fair
but there
enough,
is
like.
coolant changes
there is, of course.
at certain interims. Like, but there is a perception that you can do 100k without a proper big service, and that's a worry. When these cars come down the road to us, when they need to be,
They're going to need a heap of prep work anyway, first of all.
because
Yeah.
they're heavy. Apparently, Teslas are very hard on control arms, and because they are heavy. You can tell in the EV3 it's a heavy car. I've had it in the back of my lorry. It's a heavy car, so they are going to be heavier on suspension, just with that weight. But they drive nice because the weight they're well sprung. But there is going to be things that are going to wear out prematurely than you wouldn't on a standard ICE car. There just is. But there is this kind of thing, this chatter about, I wouldn't go in and give Kia 300 quid for a service. Sure, all they do is change the pollen filter. It's the software updates.
Yeah, there's more
it's
to
the
that,
checks.
and it's also to check it as well for your own safety, and just so you're not like there is what's going to happen then when you go for your big service. It's going to be thousands and thousands needed, you know.
But that is gonna come down the road to us when we actually get them into stock as used cars. That I don't think they're going to have the same level of just preventative maintenance that ordinary petrol and diesel cars have. Could be a problem if you don't have a conscientious an owner who has a few quid to spend on a service. Because I've seen Leafs and all. I've seen used Leafs plugged in not far from my business, with literally ball tires on them, and these are people driving around because again they're not servicing them.
If you're not servicing, no one's having a look at them, and people and again, like we're into cars and all that. Like, you know, I will notice if my tires are wearing, because you'll be looking at things in the car, but like a lot of people, like they don't pay any attention to anything that's going on in the car. They just sit in and drive, like, do you know what I mean?
But I go back to my former point that I think us as car dealers, we need to start thinking about 5 to 10 year plans in evolving into EV dealers, because I think it's going to happen.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's but I do think it could be a great thing. From our point of view, and the tech, I think EVs are the level of technology you get, especially all this Chinese stuff coming. Like BYDs are very, very cool. We actually buy
get mixed reports about their reliability. What have you heard about them?
I've heard they're good. Like we actually buy trade cars from a BYD dealership.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah, and you know,
the lads that I know working for BYD, I know because they have to, but they rave about them, like, you know.
Yeah.
But I think they're being genuine as well, like, you know. People do seem to like them, like.
But I think when like I mentioned before, I've a real horn for a Xiaomi. I think.
Like, are they the
XIAO1i?
Yeah. Are they don't sell them here yet?
No, but when they come, Paul,
they're big. Are they the ones that they're big over in the Middle East, like in Dubai and all that? I think.
When they come, you'll get what I'm saying. I think they're mega. I think the styling, the tech. Xiaomi's an amazing company.
I think they've because one of Laura's friends lives in Dubai, and they've a Defender lookalike.
Yeah.
I think, and they call it the Pretender. She's I got a new Pretender.
Well, the BYD,
what's that? It's like a cheap Defender.
The BYD Shark.
It was like €30,000, and it looks like a Land Rover Defender that size, brand new now.
Well, the Jakku.
Yeah.
I saw one here on English plates. I haven't started selling them here, but there's a Jakku, and they're selling them in the UK. They've arrived, and there's dealerships selling them, and they have like a Range Rover rip-off, and they have like an Evoque rip-off, and you'll get one for late 20s and early 30s and into the 30s in sterling if you live over there. But there's people buying them because they know they're not going to break down.
More reliable than
I think
Land Rover, and it can't be any worse.
I think there's like a 7 or 8 year warranty on them, and they're well spec'd, and they don't look like a Chinese. They don't look Chinese. They're well styled. I think they're cool. Okay, you had this big Jakku thing on the front, but they're already. I was watching a guy on TikTok. They're already. Gloss blacking the badging to tone them down.
Yeah, so no ever knows from this. Ooh, what's that?
Yeah, it was a Jakku. But there's Jakku, there's Leap Motor. Leap Motor's arrived in Ireland. MSL are bringing them in.
What are they called again?
Leap Motor.
Leap Motors. To be honest, I am not clued in enough on new electrics.
When you go past,
would you see yourself getting an electric car franchise? Would that interest you in any way, shape, or form?
No, I don't think. No. I think I'm too old to take on a franchise.
I just have no interest.
I think I'm a wheeler dealer, independent.
I like the flexibility to be an independent dealer.
No,
like you're saying, I would happily, like if someone asked me 5 years ago what I'd be doing in 5 years' time, you'd have an idea, but that can change the whole time. So like I like the flexibility, and it's like you saying don't want to work for anyone else. When you have a franchise, you're kind of working for them, like, do you know what I mean? To an extent, and that wouldn't excite me now.
They're going to expect you to have a glass box.
Of course, and you're married to it then. Yeah, but then they can drop you once your little contract is up, then they can drop you, and then you're stuck with your little glass showroom.
Yeah, and I think the great thing about used car sales is you can pivot.
Yeah, no, that's the same.
I see the way you pivoted there. You started doing Jap stuff. Within months, you started doing Jap stuff.
And now it's like 60% of 50, 60. Yeah. Some months more.
But if that changes, you can pivot again.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm very flexible, and I'll happily pivot. If there's a massive margin in camper vans, and I've suddenly a horn for them in 3 years' time, I would be okay with selling them. Yeah, same with Vespa scooters. I like it doesn't matter.
Again, we're margin hunters.
Like I'm not tied to it, and it's, like the lads that, and I've mentioned in other podcasts, the dealers that were so heavily reliant on UK imports, like 100% of their stuff, right? A lot of them really suffered.
Yeah,
after
I
Brexit.
did. I painted myself into a corner.
But so many lads did, like.
Yeah, but I wasn't big scale. But but I did. I remember standing.
They were kind of like, what do we?
I remember standing in my yard in January, and I had only like 3 or 4 fucking cars left.
Yeah.
And I was like, what have I done?
Everything can change, and like you're at the whim of, especially if you're importing cars. But like, some of it's out of your control. One, in terms from a tax and a global regulation point of view, that's one. But also, like, you are not in control of the product you sell, of how good it is. For example, like we all know that cars generally nowadays cause more trouble than they did 10 years ago. That's not a secret. Everyone knows. So your kind of hands are tied, like, do you know what I mean? But we have to be ready to pivot. Like, we used to sell a lot more Audis, let's say, than we back 6-7 years ago, because I was actually more confident in selling 2015 A4s than I would be from selling newer ones or newer A6s, because they gave less bother.
Yeah.
But you pivot, and now we sell a heap of Beamers because they're not giving us any as much bother. But that's the benefit of being an independent dealer, because you are independent and you can move with the times and everything like that.
Like you know, we weren't doing a lot of vans. Now we do a fair share of vans.
How do you find vans?
Vans are fine. Like, you know, vans are vans. You know what I mean?
I used to sell vans when I was in H&H in Waterford, and I was kind of
10W606
Yeah.
could have been a van you sold. Went through my hands recently, and H&H was on the...
possibly. I sold a load of new ones, and I sold a load of used ones, and I inherited the van job, and because I know Fred Deavy's going to be listening to this, because and you know Fred as well.
I know Fred well, yeah.
But Fred was the van
Shout
man
out to
in
Fred.
H, because he listens to everything I do. Thanks for the support, Fred. He's a great guy.
Yeah, he is.
But when I started in car sales, he was there in H&H, and he was selling vans, and then he left. And briefly left the motor trade and came straight back in, but I became the van man for a year or two in H&H, and I think it was.
Did you like selling vans?
No, I didn't. I didn't really, to be honest. It was just at the time it was just kind of, we're just kind of leaving the recession at the time, right? And a lot of van lads had awful credit history after the recession, right? Yeah. So it was a tough sell sometimes.
Yeah.
Now, the bigger lads were fine, but there was a lot of rough and.
You get these lads walking. See that van over there? I'll buy that if you can get me finance.
Yeah.
And when you hear that, you go, oh, he's got that finance.
A lot of them couldn't get finance, and a lot of them, because there was way more cash work back then as well.
Yeah.
Like, do you have audited accounts and all that? And like, yeah, but they were making $9,000 a year, apparently, according to. I was like, I think you're making more.
And then
than
the classic
$9,000.
one, that'd come in. How much is that van? Yeah, it's 16,000 plus VAT. We won't be paying the VAT. I'll give you 16 grand cash for it.
16 grand cash. Oh my god! It was some of those. It was like, you can forget. I leave the VAT off and I pay cash. It's like, listen, lad, right? I am a fucking 24-year-old, whatever age I was at the time, employee working for the bowling group who. They don't want your cash, and it's no odds to me. Why are you saying to me, I don't get to see any of it? I might count it and give it to the accounts, but that's it. Like, why are you saying that to me? And then, the other one as well. It was like, all right, how much is a roof rack and ladder and a tow bar? I was like, grand. Oh, I think it's $2,000 or whatever the figure would be. Right, so you'll throw that in with it. I was like, I'm not throwing in $2,000 as if to just like fill a tank of fuel, like. And there were just some of those lads, and they were a bit rough and ready, and everything was just, she'll throw that in with it. I was like, I can't throw in $2,500 of parts just for the crack with it. And then then they pay a deposit and then go for finance. They couldn't get finance. But
never get finance.
Yeah, so I used to do a bit of that, and
The VAT does my head in.
And then the trade-ins as well, like, because of used vans, like, again, a lot of the time, not always. There is the best used vans are like the fleet or lease ones and all that. We used to sell a good few on post vans and all that kind of thing, and they were very likely used. Like some lads be trading in their vans and they are wrecked, They're fucked, and their bodyworks and bits because they're a workhorse. You know what I mean?
But they'll tell you on the phone, "Oh, jeez, never gave me a day's bother."
And you'd see it, and you're like, "This thing is absolutely
grand joke."
So no, and so I don't. We sell the odd little small van if we took it in as a trade in here, but it's just I feel you can't do everything, and I don't do like pickups either. Like I don't do like Ford Rangers or anything. I just don't do them, and I, for no real reason. Then I just don't want to you can't specialize in everything. Like,
but then you see lads selling Rangers. They'll have a yard full of them and they make a very good living on them.
But that's it, like, and I feel with every type of thing, you know, especially with vans, or especially, let's say, Ford Rangers or Pajeros or Land Cruisers.
There's a guy near Mullingar has like 40 or 50 Amaroks, and he just does Amaroks.
But if you know them
and he does a very good job at it.
Like, we've never taken we just use Land Cruisers, for example. Honestly, I don't know if I've ever took one in as a trade-in, because one, I don't see they're mad money, right? Even ones that are 8,
and if you send one for a CVRT, it's going to cost $2,000.
Yeah.
By the time you put it on the ramp and go through it and test it and retest it, and you're going to be out $1,500, $2,000. I've been down this road of Hiluxes, and fellas think, oh, geez, you'll fly through the test. It won't.
It just
won't. Wait till you send it down, and you'll come out with two fail sheets, long as the River Shannon, and I swear to God, like,
long as the River Shannon.
I tell you now, and it's not a lot of fun. And then when you put it back out for sale, and you say to the guy who inquires about it, yeah, we spent $2,000 on it, we fucking replaced everything underneath. They're like, I don't care, I just wanted the cheapest price you have it. They don't give a shit about what you invested in. You know, even though you threw 2 G's into the bottom of it.
Those lads, they're the lads that buy the Land Cruiser, the lads they're cash merchants first of all, and they want deals and they're pure like hagglers and all that, and I just don't want that. Like I want to sell a Volkswagen Golf on finance. Someone to message me on Instagram. It's just what
I remember having
what we're used to.
I remember having a Land Cruiser. No word of a lie. It was a bit of mileage on it now, but a tidy enough old thing, and I think I wanted $7,000. It was it was an older yoke, but it tidy enough, and $7,000 for it. But I put it up at 9 because I thought I'd be happy with 7, but I put it up at 9, and this lad came up from Cashel, and he spent an hour under it. He literally was under for an hour. Like I was like, Jesus Christ! Like he was like, he brought a big lump of cardboard
to lie under.
Yeah. And
I would have had, as the women would say, I would have had the ick with that.
Yeah. And so what I did was I actually just said to him, "There's the keys, knock yourself out. I'll be in the office having a coffee." And I let him for an hour. And I came out to him and I said, "You happy now? Done you? Oh, jeez, done all the checks. Oh, it needs this and this." It doesn't. It's got a new test. I said, "Doesn't need all that." "Oh, no, it needs it. If you want to do it, you can do it yourself. But I'm telling you, it's all done." And then he says to me, "Yeah, yes. What do you want for it?" I said, "I need 9,000. He says, "I'll give you 7.5. Yeah, you can. All right, I'll have that deal with you. See, you have to because these lads want to kick in the pants on price. You have to overprice it because they're going to. If I said 7, he would have offered me 5. See, that's just the way they. That's just the way they are.
You have to. There's some cars you will only sell if you haggle down a bit, and you have to be aware of that as well. There's some lads as well that they'll spend ages and they'll have someone come down, or they'll have the lad who's a mechanic. My friend is a mechanic, usually not a mechanic, by the way, but they'll be there, right, and they'll be pulling holes, they'll be looking at it for half an hour. And this is a 7-year-old car, by the way. I was like, you'd be nearly saying to him, it's like, "Listen, lad, just so you know, you can point out any things that are a little bit worn in the car. It's a 7-year-old car. There's 140,000 kilometers on it, whatever it is." And sometimes they'll be going to extra to town on it just to justify them being there to help their friend. So, you're lucky you brought me. Oh, if you didn't bring me now, I wouldn't have spotted it. And second of all, they're trying to use everything to beat you down with it. I was like, "Listen, lad, right?
Yeah.
Listen, right? I'll sell this car anyway at 20 grand because it's very clean. I know for a fact it's very clean for a 7-year-old car. You pointing out everything and offering $2,000 less is not going to work. Do you know what I mean?" But so
I don't know what margins you think I'm running at.
Knock $2,000 off. I was like, "Well, you messaged me last night on this car without even the photos being up of it. You're down the next day and now you're trying to get $2,000 off it." It's like, slow your roll, lad.
An adoption I talk about a good few years ago after speaking to a main dealer, guy who works in the main dealers, the Volkswagen main dealers, who had all this nonsense about people coming in and, "I'll be back with my mechanic." Well, Jesus, I'll tell you now, if there's a problem, he'll fucking find it.
Great, I'm so excited.
And what they started saying, he says, years ago they started saying to customers, "Actually, do you know what? Leave it." And they go, "What?" "No, just leave it. Either you want to buy it today, we'll do your deal today and sell you the car. But if you want to come back with your own mechanic, there's no point because we got factory trained mechanics in the workshop who are going to go over that vehicle with a pre-delivery inspection. If you don't trust us to do our job right, you're not the customer for us." I started doing that and it's amazing, it works. And it actually instills confidence. I've often said, look, I have a workshop there, I have a technician, he was 10 years in Toyota, right? He's going to be going over your vehicle. And if you don't trust us to do your job, you're not the customer for us. Please, by all means, just buy one somewhere else. But if you buy one from me, it'll be prepped up properly.
That'll work with a lot of people, but some people then will take that up the wrong way. They'll say, "He's trying to hide something."
Yeah. But I've done it, Paul, and you know what? The majority of people will be like, "Okay then." Okay.
Yeah, I'd say most people will be fine. There will be, but then again, I suppose the argument would be is if that person then is not okay with it, maybe they're going to be perhaps be hassled as a customer if anything goes wrong on warranty. If you don't know, it's a tricky one.
Their Lidl scanner, or they got one in Aldi or Lidl, and they want to plug into the car. I'd be like, but hey, I would say to them, "Hey, we got the best top Don in there. We'll do your printout. We'll plug it to it now, and we can take screenshots. If there's a problem, we'll put it right."
Sometimes where you can kind of suss people out. Before they've done a deal, and you're kind of like, you'd be nearly half discouraging them from paying.
And then there's the other side. I sold a Skoda the other night, lovely black exec, superb, and the lady was lovely, Polish lady, and she brought her husband with her. He's a mechanic, and he had his scanner. And I thought, okay.
Sometimes you fear the worst, and you're
But
not
you know
always
what?
right, though,
You know what? He was a lovely guy, and because he was a mechanic, and I know the garage he works in Limerick. He plugged into it, and he says, 100%. He says, 100%, no problem. And they bought the car. They went off happy, and because he was a mechanic, sometimes you have to just roll with it, and you have to, sometimes. Some customers will put up barriers to a sale that you just can never come across. You're never going to get them across the line because, a lady rang me on Saturday afternoon. I was locked up and gone home, and she wanted to see a car after hours. And I said, "What is it?" It's an Alhambra. I have a 7-seater. And I says, "I tell you what." He says, "Do you want to see it tomorrow morning?" And she says, "Yeah, could I see it tomorrow morning?" Yeah. I says, "Now, I will only show a car on a Sunday if someone's coming to buy."
Yeah, of course.
I said to her, so I started to try to qualify her. How are you funded? Are you like, can you write a check for this car today? Do you need finance? Are you looking at other vehicles? And she told me she's looking at other vehicles. And I says, well, then my car is really just going to be in a series of vehicles you're looking at. So give us a shout on Tuesday.
No, you have to. You drive yourself absolutely cuckoo.
Because I'm not going to stand there for an hour on a Sunday and listen to all of that, and then they go, she will be in touch. And you're like, I could have had an extra hour in bed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's just so sometimes as sales professionals we do have to qualify people.
Oh no, 100%.
Because I genuinely don't think, and if you are general public and you're looking at this podcast, please don't mess around car dealers, because we're very busy people, and not just that, we employ people by the hour. And what the other things that annoy me is these people who come in and go, especially the workshop, I just do a quick plug in.
Have a look at that there. Like, it's not as quick as just have a quick look at it there. You tell me in 5 minutes, yeah.
And we get broke. We absolutely get broken with people coming in looking for air, because we're a motorway services, and we actually had to start charging for air.
And clip this one off. Now, we don't charges for air.
We don't charge. Well, sure, they charge it. You pull into a topaz and you have to put two quid in the thing. Now we actually don't. What we do is if someone comes in with a TPMS fault, right? We'll pump up all the tires and we'll clear the fault. We're resetting all the values. Like if my technician does that and it could happen 5 times a day. Someone comes in, I'm just going to Cork and my TPMS light is on. I don't want to get broken down the motorway. And if he does that, so if he spends 10 minutes resetting the
fucking customers,
yeah,
what are they like?
But if he spends 10 minutes, resetting the values, resetting the TPMS, talking shite to them,
taking off a job from that, you're doing something else.
If he does that 5 times a day, straight away you're down 50 minutes, nearly a bloody hour, and then you're like out of the workshop, and that happens 5 days a week, 6 days a week. It all builds up, and people forget. So what we do say is, look, we pump up your tires. You can use that over there at the Topaz. They charge a few quid. We charge a few quid too, but we'll do all your value. Most people are lovely. We've had a few kick off. And my answer to them is, well, then you're not a prisoner. It's fine.
A lot of people would have no concept of what it's like running a business. They don't value people's time. And again, we're in a, especially at the moment, because for car dealers and for in the economy in general, things are going quite well, and people's time is valuable. Like, you know what I mean? There is no, if you're a decent business in the motor trade or in any business really, like there is plenty of work around. Like, do you know what I mean? Especially for any workshops, like there's any amount of work there. So you have to be. It's prudent and sensible to be selective and be sensible.
We have a closed client list.
Yeah,
we closed it.
I remember you saying that. Yeah,
we closed it because
it's like doctors now. A lot of doctor surgeons can't get into either. Mad shortage of so many services.
Because there's only so many hours in the day. There's only so much stress you can put on your staff. You people want to make their emergency your emergency.
Of course, yeah.
It's not fair. So, and then you have people who actually come and buy a car or a van off you, and then they are a customer, and they're a value customer because they entrusted their money with you. And so I remember I had a guy in one day and he wanted an exhaust put on a Mercedes, something that we don't get involved in in exhaust. It's an old enough Mercedes, and I said to him, look, I says he was new to the area. I said, look, we have a closed client book. And he's like, what? I says, we have a closed client book. I says, we're not taking on new customers. And he says, well, how do I get on your book? And I says, well, there's 2 ways. I says, buy a caravan off us and then you're a customer. Or someone on the list has to die. And he went, what? Or someone on the list has to actually croak it. He says, you are joking, aren't you? No. He says, actually, technically, somebody would have to die. But I says, no, I am joking. He says, geez, he says, because that wouldn't be very nice if you went around saying that to people. I says, well, okay.
You dead yet? We're looking for new customers.
But
you're getting old now. You're not spending much money.
Are you devoid of a sense of humour, sir? But it's gone that way where. And another thing about, I have a very good friend who has a big workshop, and he's fixing cars 30 or 40 years. And he's recently been messaging me, and I said to him, you need to close a client book. Because he had people coming in who he doesn't know. They're floaters. These are people who go from workshop to workshop to workshop to workshop.
Often for a good reason.
Yeah, this is the thing.
Yeah.
And they're not happy with the bill. They're not happy with this. They're not happy with that. And you just have to, what you need to have is we have customers. There's no debt in my workshop business. Every single invoice is paid. There's no debt in my business, actually. We've no bad debt at all. And that was from day one, where we don't allow credit. If you come in,
we rarely do it. Maybe a really good customer.
The local parish priest doesn't get credit off me. He just doesn't. He gets his car washed actually with us. He's electric car actually. And he loves them. But we don't offer credit because the customers we have pay me instantly. They pay me by Revolut. We have a Revolut business account. They just pay you. I send them a WhatsApp invoice and they pay you, and we release the car. I don't even have to ask sometimes. And they're the customers you want. They're the ones who will be loyal to you. They trust you. They'll never question the price because they know they're getting value.
Yeah.
They know. And anyway, the hourly rate is on the invoice.
It's good to have trust. If you have trust in car sales, I always say it's in the workshop. If you have a good relationship with customers and trust in the workshop, it'll translate to sales as well. And you've got the same kind of pool of customers that get car service here, and then they change when they're buying. And that's essential.
Yeah, and we've made really good friends from customers who, and they will not deviate. They will not go anywhere else. And they know. And anyway, they know. Like I have a guy who bought a Sportage off me years ago. But he's a home help carer. He works in he goes around from house to house helping old folk. And I know how important that job is, because I remember when my dad had dementia, Daddy had home help come to the house, and they assisted my mother to mind my dad. And those people are the loveliest and hard-working. Yeah. They're really, really sound people. And I remember they were so lovely when my old man passed. They actually came to the funeral. They're so caring. So we have a local guy who does that job, and he bought a car, and I just know how important it is for him to have me on the end of the phone. If he breaks down in the middle of the night, I will go out, I will open up, and I will give him a van or a car. I will not have him off the road. He comes to me. Well, he went off and bought a vehicle of then he traded in his Sportage with another dealer.
Yeah. Not bitter.
But yeah, I'm not bitter.
Not bitter.
But he came in to me and he said, I hope I says, you will be my customer forever for what you do. So we still service his vehicle. He pays me on time. And I always, the day he books in his vehicle for a service or whatever, I give him another vehicle. No charge. Because I know the job he does is so important. He has to make his calls because there's people relying on him. Yeah. And I think, people forget about the good work. Now, I'm not bigging myself up doing that. I do that for anybody. But I'm just saying people forget about the good work workshops owners do and car dealers do for their customers. We're actually a vital cog in a local economy. It's particularly when you have a workshop. I've lent out cars. I've had people break down. I wouldn't even know them. I remember one night there was a I think he told me he was from Iran, and I was locking up. It was a winter's night, and he came over to me and he said, "Excuse me, sir, I need help." And he broke in English, and I said, "Are you okay?" And he says, "No, I'm broken down." So I went over, looked at the car, and it was actually a Mazda. Wasn't a 2.2 Sky Active.
No.
It was a little
petrol.
A little PSA 1.6 diesel.
Not
and the injector was gone. You could hear it chuffing away. And I said to him, but it was late, after hours, and it was raining, and it was winter time. And I said to him, "This won't be fixed tonight." And he said, "I said, where are you from?" And he says, "Oh, I'm from Iran. I've only moved here." And he hadn't great English, but you could make out what he was saying. But then I looked in the rear seat, and his partner or wife or lady or whatever was sitting in the back of the car, and she was breastfeeding. And I looked and I went, "Oh." I says, "You got a small baby, haven't you?" And he goes, yeah. And she was kind of like, she was very modestly cradling the baby, breastfeeding. And I says, is she feeding the baby? And he goes, yeah. And I says, we got to get you home.
Of course.
You can't be here on. I says, because, do you have recovery? No. Do you have insurance? I don't think he had insurance, the poor devil. Like he hadn't been. I said to him, right, I tell you what we're going to do. I'm just going to get you into a car and you're going to go home and we'll fix the car. And he was like,
it's nice to be able to do that.
Yeah, and it's easy for me, but it means an awful lot to those folk.
That's it, especially with loan cars, something like that. We plenty cars here. And sometimes if you can get someone out of a hole, as long as people aren't too inconvenienced, and again, we'd always try and, sometimes I'd be cursing how much we bend over backwards. We drop cars out to them and bring their car. Oh, it doesn't suit me to bring it in. I was like, grand. We'll collect it and we'll bring it back. We'll drop a loan car. Again, some people are very sound. Some people will try and take you for a ride and all that. But look, again, it's bigger picture stuff, and sometimes you do maybe a little bit too much, but so be it. I
gave him a little car. There was a trade in there, tax and test in the window. They went off home. They were going off down to Cork. Next day, we put an injector in it. I rang him and said, look, your car's fixed. He came back up and he had no money. And I just said to him, look, it's like this. Just take the car. It's fixed. Just take the car.
You added on to the next person the invoice that came in.
Well, I am
Johnny down the road then got double the bill.
I am from Cavan.
Yeah.
No. I just look, an injector, 180, about 240 quid or whatever.
Some people are
look,
genuine.
and they, look, you have to have a heart in these things too.
Comes around,
and you know what? I think he left me. I think he went on my website and left a review. I would have preferred he went on my Google and left me a review. That annoys me when they go to the web and they don't go to Google.
No, Google. Go to
Google. Because no one knows the way.
Yeah.
But look. I think. Look, what we do is a very difficult job, particularly in car sales. Warranty is a difficult job too. Because you're managing expectations and you're trying to line up everything, get things done. But it's enjoyable, and it's strangely enjoyable. It's strangely enjoyable in a kind of a perverse way. You kind of go, why do I fucking do this? But it actually is strangely enjoyable. I quite enjoy getting a car fixed for a person and a dealer and getting it all boxed off and WhatsApping people going, that's done now.
Yeah, of course.
That's done now. That's boxed off.
Or some people are collecting the car and they're proper excited about it. You know what I mean?
You probably don't like getting the invoice.
But you know what I mean? But it's all part of it. And we'll finish off with this. We want to touch on social media because you do a decent bit of that.
I don't do as much as I used.
No, I was thinking, you used to be Facebook king now.
Yeah.
But how good has it been for your business over the years? Do you reckon?
Times have moved on.
You're on TikTok a bit more now.
No, not really.
I see you do a little bit of TikTok, don't you?
I'm shit at TikTok.
Videos are videos. They'll do it.
When I started all those years ago, I was probably I'm not saying I was the first, but I was probably the first guy to do proper video and walk around on Done Deal. When you could put in a YouTube URL and it created a video. And I was big into that. I was like, fucking video.
Your descriptions of cars, I understand the same, but they're very good. You put a bit into
and
it.
I sold cars. People often said to me, it was the video that sold the car.
Sporty and compact hatchback car, and all that. But it just made a little bit of personality and made it a little bit...
And then, but times moved on. In that 15, 20 years, times has moved on where now I was younger than you at that point. I was 30, late 20s or whatever. Now I'm 50. TikTok is completely different in the sense that I think I'm past TikTok. I don't think I can do...
There's lads way older than you on TikTok.
I just have a feeling... I don't think I can pull off TikTok. And that's why I'm kind of hesitant to try and pull off TikTok. I think you're doing a great job at TikTok. Jack Martin's doing a great... Actually, Jack's one of our biggest... Again, one of our key dealers in MotorShield and a very fierce, nice fella. Shout out to Jack. And I think...
He's often told me the baby girl there a couple of days.
Well, he was WhatsApping me earlier.
He was supposed to be taking 2 weeks off.
Right.
But
dealers never take time
off.
But I think TikTok is a tough one. I think I just stick to Done Deal as I don't get the value of a Done Deal what I used to get. I just don't. The invoice kind of
it's going up as well.
Yeah.
Last year went up.
Do you know they're after buying a used cars NI now? This is what they do. This is what they still do. They're gobbling up. They have too much control.
Yeah, it's
and then
you don't want them to become an auto trader in the UK, because auto trader in the UK, and I know because you're involved in the UK car dealer group. It's not a UK one, but it's heavily UK centered. But like the prices that the lads in the UK pay for auto trader, the lads we'd be giving out, I don't know what my Dundee bill is, it's 600 or 700 a month or whatever. But there's a guy I know, the lads paying 6 or 7 grand a month.
There's a guy up in Tyneside called Scott Sibley. Great guy. I was actually on his podcast, and I was the only Irish guy. It's a big UK podcast. They wanted to know about the Irish market, so they had me on. And he's a great car dealership called Redgate Lodge. Fantastic. He's really sharp. Really, anything Scott does, you have to take notice. He's so on the ball, and he was giving me numbers like he was spending like 30 or 40 grand a month on Auto Trader.
Oh, you've honestly, whatever, people watching this, like, as I said, you mightn't realise, autotrader.co.uk, the money car dealers that are spent advertising that, because they have such a large, it's not the same in Ireland, right? Like, the Dundee cars, yeah, they have a bit of a share in it or whatever, but like, Auto Trader have so many dealers by the balls, basically, right? Because Auto Trader has such a silly market share in the UK, right? That they literally, it's like, well, go on, we're going to up your price by 20%. Well, your sales are up 50%, we think. Sure, all your leads come from us. And like, that is a very fucking bad way to be, like, because I don't know what a dealer of my size would pay an Auto Trader in the UK, possibly 10 grand a month, like, in advertising, like, absolutely mental. And the way they'll argue it is, well, how much money have you made from selling cars this month, right? That's only 20% of your margin.
What's your split, do you think, on your sales in terms
from?
of like Cars Ireland, Dundee, TikTok? I know you don't do an awful lot of Facebook, you don't.
No, it just shares from whatever we have on Instagram. It goes onto Facebook.
So if you split it 5 channels there,
I would have had a fair grasp of it a couple of years ago. It's kind of difficult to know now, because we do kind of some sponsored stuff with Facebook and Instagram that just like channels into the website. It just kind of comes through the website. So then it's kind of hard to grasp on that. I would. Do
you spend money with Google on Google Ads?
Yeah. I spend a couple $100 a month, nothing major. So I do Google AdWords, sponsor Facebook and Instagram posts. Again, nothing major. Again, a couple $100 a month on each. The bulk of our sales are either repeat business or social media as a whole. We don't get a huge pile of we do get walk-ins, but like a lot of them have seen their stuff on social media first. TikTok, it's more for the case of, we do get, I don't know what percentage we get off TikTok, but I would say, what would you say, Paul? It's hard to put into figure.
I'm gonna put 15 on TikTok.
Yeah, I would have said around that, right? TikTok is great for brand awareness,
which is not an insignificant percentage.
I was in Clarny a couple of weeks ago just for 2 nights, and I was in just the pub in Clarny one night, and about 4 people came up to me because they recognised me off TikTok. It's always TikTok. Yeah. So like TikTok. To indirect, TikTok is unbelievable for brand awareness, and people know who you are.
The great thing about that is, if they're thinking of changing the car, they'll probably think about Paul O'Connor.
Exactly, yeah.
Which is like exactly what you want to happen.
But they might have seen. It's hard to kind of quantify, because they might have seen you on TikTok, but then will put an inquiry in through your website a couple of weeks later. It's like, oh, I must look up Paul's stuff. I'll check out his website. So it's a tough one to measure. Like, the direct messages you get on TikTok are real poor quality, right? Generally, they are real poor quality. Yeah, Instagram messages a bit better. Facebook messages hit and miss. But generally, our core of our business is social media as a whole. TikTok has been the best for brand awareness. We do get a good bit of Instagram stories where people reply to your message. Not as much as we used to. We used to get more. Instagram messages are definitely after dying down lately.
I think for Insta, you have to be selling super sexy.
I would tend to agree.
Aspirational.
Yeah, and a lot of
I don't sell aspirational. I sell bread and butter, so don't worry.
A lot of our stuff as well, let's call it, like, we sell Vitzes, we sell golf stuff. We sell nice Audis and Beamers, don't get me wrong, as well, but like, I'll sell whatever there's a few quid in, basically. Like, some of them are fancy-ish, some of them aren't fancy. But
I think if you're selling Lambos,
I think
in
so.
London,
the European Prestige lads, they're over in the UK, they're in Dublin as well, in the north and everything like that. But like, they have unbelievable stock, right?
And Crinigan Motorsport, they have lovely stuff.
I know the lads in Crinigan as well. Like, they sell real nice stars. And they've real high quality edits and high quality cameras. And like,
Nadia, the same.
Same.
But Nadia's able to add her beauty.
Yeah,
she's able to add. She's got the fun. Like she does. I know. Like, I met her a few weeks ago. She's got the whole kind of. She's absolutely delightful to meet. She just
we were up there 2 weeks
Yeah.
ago. She said, you just mentioned
Yeah,
that.
she's such-
She couldn't have been any nicer and friendlier.
She's such
to
a
deal with.
sweetheart.
Yeah, 100%.
But she's able, like, you know, the Nadia you meet isn't the Nadia you see in the videos. She's actually got star quality on the vid. Like she actually has. I think Nadia should be on the TV doing a TV show. I mean, she. Do you know that TV slot used to do on a Saturday night? Miriam, little chat show. I think RTE needs to get Nadia to do a little chat show.
I'd say she might. We asked her.
I
that
think
'cause
she'd
we
be
did,
fucking brilliant doing a chat show.
We did the podcast episode.
She'd be absolutely brilliant at sitting people down, having a bit of banter, and the all, how are you getting on?
Yeah.
you know all the, you know. I think she'd be better than Miriam. I think she could actually get. She could just get in touch with ordinary folk. You know, it's, you know, there's you know, this whole celebrity thing is crazy, but you know, ordinary people. It's like when you sell a car to an ordinary fella. I love selling cars to old folk because they always have a story to tell you. They do. They if you get someone in who's 65, 70, you know, maybe even 80, they'll sit in your office and they'll start telling you stories that you won't get this level of texture and conversation from young folk.
No, you definitely
don't.
won't. You know,
And they'll give you nuggets of information. They'll give you nuggets of advice, and they'll say, "Oh, geez,
storytelling is definitely an art.
And they tell you,
people don't have the concentration span to tell a story.
But back to your thing, I think TikTok is hard for me. Would be hard for me to crack. I have been thinking about it, but there's an investment in TikTok. I heard you talking about the way you need to do it in the morning. You need to slice off an hour of your day. You need to have it's a bit like the radio game years ago. We used to have production meetings. Now it's all content, and you have content chats, and you know we used to work in quarter hours. Content, and it's
reminds you of Dr. Evil and laser.
Yeah. $1 million,
Austin
$1
Powers,
million.
freaking lasers. Yeah,
but you do actually need to have
you do
content. You need to have a content plan. Like I know there's one large dealership in the UK who do TikTok, and they have a wall planner for TikTok, and it's this big whiteboard, and they have a WhatsApp, and I think this is a good idea actually. They have a WhatsApp TikTok chat. So if you're driving around at the weekend, or you see some other dealer in doing, and they want to rip it off but do it in their own style, they'll throw the idea into that WhatsApp chat. So it sits there, and then every week they'll play the voice notes and go, "Oh, there's one. Yeah, there's one. We'll do that."
That's a good idea, actually.
Yeah. Because remember, there isn't a lot that hasn't been done before. So what you're really doing is regurgitating what's been done before, but doing it in your own style. Like I've seen dealers doing stuff, and I often thought Paul O'Connor would do that good.
Yeah.
But Ollie Brady wouldn't, because we're a different type of dealer. You have a young staff, kind of, you know.
Everyone has their own little strengths. Like, and what works for me won't necessarily. And I often say this as well. Just do social media that, you know, is authentic to you.
Yeah.
Like, because so what works for me won't work for other people, and other people are better at certain things than me, and vice versa, and everything like that. So, Ollie, we're going to leave it at that. I think that was an absolutely fascinating chat. I wish you all the best with MotorShield going forward, and in car sales in general. You're always a pleasure to deal with.
Any dealer looking to get in touch, go to motorshield.ie and fill in the contact form.
Or just track this episode is proudly sponsored by MotorShield.
Brought to you by MotorShield. Or just track me down and ring me.
Listen, Ollie, thank you so much.
Cheers, Paul. Thank you. Thank you.
Lovely.